Good morning, YouTube and Facebook. Lucy and I are here on Friday the 13th talking about Amazon selling horror stories.
Ooh, no, I'm gonna go dark. Good morning, everybody. It is Friday the 13th, and I actually have horror stuff that I'm packing up today, so it's very apt. Very apt because
You're
not
packing up
everybody.
horror things?
Yeah, like horror things.
Ooh.
Yeah, horror the the big horror movies. There is a
Mhm.
following for that, and so hey, I'll sell that. Not everybody loves hearts and roses for Valentine's Day.
That's
Some
right.
people like creepiness, and
Yes.
if there's any indication with how successful Wendy was as a show, I think we're going to see an uptick in that as
Of
well.
Wednesday,
Well,
the
just
Wednesday
creepy stuff
Addams.
in general.
Yeah, we watched it. I loved it. And of course, her dance went viral on
Oh
TikTok. And yeah.
yeah, it was very delightful to watch. I was
And she had
pleasantly
COVID when she was doing that dance. I don't know if you know about that.
I
But she
saw
was not
that.
feeling well that morning, and they had her go into work. She made that dance up herself, and they had tested her for COVID. And after filming that, they removed her from the set when her test came back positive.
Yeah, I'd heard she had it, and there was some debate on whether she knowingly there was
Yeah.
people that were upset that she shouldn't have gone and exposed everybody else, and anyhow, at the end of the day, like my husband and I, we have this argument all the time. You could either believe the best in somebody or the worst in somebody, and you can choose that on a daily basis. And so I like to see the positive in people, or try to at least.
Yep.
Yesterday with the bank was not good. But today we wanted to share horror stories, which the bank is one of those, man.
Yes, Lucy and I have gone round and round with the bank. And even though this is not Friday the 13th, this is my mouse pad here at
Ooh,
my desk.
I love it. I love it. So today we thought we would share some horror stories with being an entrepreneur and selling online. And, our stories are not meant to sit here and dissuade you from, this business or whatnot, but just every job has its pros and cons. Like there's no job that's absolutely amazing that has zero negatives to it. Everybody has different likes and different wants. And it's one of the things I talk to you about with my kids a lot as they are trying to decide careers going into it. And I said, where do you see yourself? Do you see yourself sitting inside, sitting outside, working with your hands, working with your brain, physically demanding, emotionally demanding, traveling, not traveling, instead of saying, do you want to be a doctor or a scientist or, a firefighter? It's kind of my take on think of how when you get up and go to work, what do you feel like you're going to go and physically do? Do you want to work with animals? I mean, things like that. Anyhow, so we've got lots of stuff, but we have some announcements first, just important things going on that we want to make sure everybody is aware of. Did you have that list?
I do have a list. I'm not sure what all the announcements you want me to start with.
Okay, let me
So
let me
one of
hit
them is
the.
Small and Light, the Small and Light
Oh yeah.
program. Hmm.
Okay, hold on, I'll bring that up in just a second. Go ahead.
Yeah, so the Small and Light program on January 17th, they have raised that minimum price up to $12. So if your product meets the size and weight and is at the $12 price range or less, you will want to enroll that into the Small and Light program.
Yes, so I am really looking forward to that date because that is going to be a huge difference. The other thing along with that is items that are on that $9.99 range right now, you can bump them up to $10.99, $11.99 if you're wanting to squeeze that extra
Yes.
dollar and have the small and light, still apply to it. So I am really excited about that. And then along with January dates, we have Martin Luther King on Monday, so no post. Try to remember that. And then on the 31st is the last day for the Q4 returns, which I have my bag. Let's see here. No, I got to go to the other opposite side. That bag right there, I picked up from the post office. All my returns go to my P.O. box. And I've got a slew I got to go through, make sure they got refunded, make sure they sent me the right item. and get that handled.
And
Then,
speaking about returns, when you go through your returns, a lot of people have been posting their frustrations of the return switcheroos.
yes. Do we want to talk about that first?
Yes, I think we should talk about that first. So you already know your deadline. But what about the scammers that are out there that do the old return switcheroo? And what I mean by that is exactly what it sounds. They buy an item from you, but they return something that they bought from another seller. And you know this by the FNSKU label on the item. Or they return it used or damaged because they used it. When you are going to open up a case on the old return and switcheroo trick, you want to take a picture of the packaging that you received it back in. Even if it's from Amazon, you need to take it's okay that you've opened it, but you need to take a picture of that box and that label that is on the box. If it's came in a polybag mailer, same thing. Take a picture of that, because if you go opening it up and throwing the box in your garbage can and the trash man takes it away, when you go to open up your case on Amazon, they are going to want images of the packaging that you received it back in. So make sure you save that box or package, or at least get your picture of it before you go throwing it away. You're going to want to take a picture of your item. If it's something where it was a shirt and the customer used it and there's a big stain on it, zoom in and take a good picture of that stain, describing how you sent this item into Amazon or to the customer, whether it was FBA or merchant fulfilled, in brand new condition. And this is the way that you received it back, using the words in unsellable condition. Whether it's a toy with the wrong label on it, that you clearly did not send this item into Amazon, take pictures of that, of all of the details. When you open up your case on this order, make sure you include the order number and all of your photos documenting what you are claiming.
Yeah. We have a good question in regards to this. Somebody, and I don't know your name because you didn't do the permissions thing with StreamYard, says, I have 5 refunds pending to approve. They have been on my Seller Central dashboard for about a month. I haven't received the items. How long will they stay? I want to say it's till the 31st. They might even stay on a little longer. I mean, they give the customer a lot of time. As soon as the customer packages it up and it gets scanned by the post, then the return gets authorized. So if people don't return the items, that's fine. I mean, there's nothing to worry about or really do. You don't go nagging them to return it. Don't go reminding them to return it. Let that date come and go. And if they don't have their act together, then they don't get their refund. I mean, that's all there is to it. Don't go looking for trouble. I've got enough troubles. I don't need to go looking for trouble. All right. I wanted to add, I had a couple screenshots to go through, but some I'll do after your story. This is kind of my new favorite thing. I sent this to my kids too, but if anybody needs a reminder out there, when somebody disagrees with you online and demands that you prove your point to their satisfaction by writing a logically sound defense, you can save a lot of time by not doing that. Dude, I've known you for 10 seconds and I've enjoyed none of them. I'm not taking homework assignments from you.
I love that comeback.
Love that. But I feel that way. I see sometimes people, asking and wanting stuff online, whether it's Facebook or Instagram or chat comments. And it's like, dude, just ignore.
I don't owe you anything. And wouldn't I love to write that to an Amazon seller rep on a case that is not getting the results that I want?
Yeah, exactly. Then, it's Nicole. Yay, thank you. I'll go back and approve Steam. Okay, good, Nicole. And Brandy says, do we close out refund request after 30 days or wait till January 31st? I don't know what you mean close out refunds. Like, I'm going to go through what I got in my bag over there. And if it didn't automatically get approved, then I will say it's good to go. Most of them will get automatically approved. I don't see why it wouldn't. And then I'm going through to make sure that they sent me back and I don't have to open those cases. That's what I'm going through.
Yeah.
How do we get over this? This was a big to do.
Yes. Who has seen this on their phones?
The Amazon seller app went down because the hamsters got loose in the matrix again. I don't know. But if you were wondering about this, the fix around yesterday was to delete the app and reinstall. I did not do that. I was like, whatever, it's late at night. I don't need to see it. This morning I woke up and now they have a little notification here. So if you are encountering that, that's what that is all about. On the same instance, Inventory Lab was having a issue with the what was it, cost of goods, and sales weren't updating yesterday. So if you've noticed some funky funkness going on, then you're not alone.
I had funky funkness in Be Cool yesterday when I was trying to go in there doing some repricing. I noticed that one of my items didn't come up as because I have an option in there for items that are active that do not have repricing enabled. That's one of my shortcuts. And one of my items hadn't popped up. And I thought, well, I know it's in stock. And so then I went in and plugged in the ASIN, choosing ASIN as the search, and it didn't come up in Be Cool at all, as if I didn't even have it in my inventory at all. So I am going to go back in there today to see if that has worked itself out. So I don't know if it is all coming from Amazon and their, what do you call that, APIs or whatever that's called in computer terms, linking things up. I don't
know. Yeah, I don't know. Sometimes we get just really. Brandy says, I have a refund request that's been there for 40 days and tracking it shows it hasn't shipped. Does the request, yeah, it falls off on its own. There's an option to complete it. Yeah. So the only times I go in there and like manually give them their money back is if I did mess up and like I know that I messed up, I'm going to own it and I'm going to refund the person regardless because it's not their fault. Like they need to be treated with, like, in my world, customers are first, and I like giving a good customer experience, which sounds so terrible, but I want to make sure my customers are happy. If I messed up, if I sent the wrong item or I didn't send enough or whatever, I'm going to do whatever I can to make them happy. If they just didn't want something and they're returning it, like, that's on them. Take your time. That's I don't care. It will auto close when it auto closes, and I'm not going to go nag you to give you your money back. I've got enough, money problems as it is. I don't need to be going and giving you extra money.
And if you should want to open a case on it, you can, Brandy. You can open up a case on it and tell Amazon, this is past the 30-day window. The, buyer has not returned the item. Can you please
I would just let it close on its own.
Well, you can. I was just giving another option.
Yeah, but I think Amazon's going to take that and then they're going to message the seller on your behalf.
Possibly.
So I don't know. You can if you're really worried about it. But I have had recalled items that I have wanted sent back to me. I have had items going into Amazon, and I have had returns that just get stuck. And they get stuck for months and months and months. And they eventually will work themselves out. I wouldn't worry about it. I don't know. That's my take. All right. You had a horror story. So we're going to bounce back and forth with our horror stories today on Friday the 13th. But if you have your own horror story, I would love to read them in the comments.
Yes.
Some are, you got to laugh later on. But at the time, they can be very irritating, to say the least.
Yes, at the time they can be sleepless nights. So it was about 6 years ago. I was still working my full-time job and my account got suspended. And the thing is my account got suspended months before I was planning on leaving this job to do Amazon full-time. And I lost sleep over it, as any of you would if your account had gotten suspended. And the funny thing is I was at the ASD trade show when I logged into my Amazon seller app just to, scan things at the show. And it said your account has been deactivated right there at the ASD show. I couldn't even scan things if I wanted to. And like my heart stopped. I didn't know what to do. I went into panic mode. Well, at that time, 6 years ago, I did not realize the importance of taking care of certain things in my account health. Had I done that, I would not have gotten suspended. I probably could have fought the cases and won, and the suspension never would have happened. So, what had happened, the backstory on that is at the time I was buying inventory from an unauthorized way of buying inventory. I was buying brand new Costco pulls. So these were either overstock items that never hit the shelves, or they were unsold items, brand new with tags. There was nothing wrong with them. However, I was buying it from the middleman, the guy that would buy the truckload of the stuff from Costco, and then he was piecing it out to people like myself that were selling online. So I did not have a valid invoice to back up that I purchased this authentic item from Costco. So I got an inauthentic complaint from a customer on one item. It was on my account health. It was the first time I had anything like that. And I thought, well, that's BS. I know it's real. I never tried to clean it up. I never tried to fight that battle. I knew it would fall off in 6 months. So I let it be there because I truly didn't know any better at that time. Now years later, of course I do. But at that time, I just took it with a grain of salt, as a lot of newer sellers often do, because you don't really know until you know. So, moving forward during that 6 month window, I got my second inauthentic complaint on a different item, again, a Costco clothing item, brand new with tags. The person claimed that it was not authentic, and Amazon deactivated my account, and I was suspended. So, I had to hire somebody that would write the appeals for me because I didn't even know how to do that. And I knew that I took this seriously because I had planned on quitting my job. And then the fear set in. Well, what if I can't quit my job? I've put all my blood, sweat, and tears into this to grow. It was devastating to me. I lost sleep. I would toss and turn in the middle of the night. It was right before Q4. It was like right in October, and that busy time of the year. I had FOMO. I was logging into Facebook and seeing everybody, show their extravagant sales and the money they were making, and it just, like, all of the emotions that went along with it. It took me 2 months to get my account back. 2 months. The girl that was doing my appeal letters was very skilled. I pulled up all the invoices from the supplier I was getting them at, explained how it was my fault and how I won't do it again and all the things. And each appeal kept getting denied. And she had never ran into such an issue before. She says, I've never seen them denied after this kind of appeal. She was struggling. A skilled appeal writer, that's all she does for a living, was struggling with my case. She had to go to some of her secret resources and get some special email addresses within Amazon to address it was escalated to every department. Like, it got hardcore. And she eventually did get my account back. And for the next many, many years, I would not buy anything unless I had an invoice. I was scared to even buy things in Walmarts and Targets with just receipts. It put the scare into me. And that is my horror story. I was able to quit that job, and I've been successfully selling on Amazon since. And I've put out many, many fires since that time, because now I take every little infringement on my account seriously. Do I lose sleep over it anymore? No, I don't, because I know that these things are fixable.
That is way worse than anything I have, horror wise, but I do have some stories. And then I wanted to show off my new taser. That dog did not like that, but I was going to go like this during this scary.
Don't tase your face, though.
No, that would be bad. That would be bad. I kind of want to test it because, like, I have a shock collar for my dog because we run in the woods, and
I have one for my husband.
That's always good. They need one. They need one too. But anyhow, I would never, like, we all tested the shock collar because I wasn't going to put anything on my dog without testing it. But yeah, husband collars are good too. Anyhow, we had a creepy guy around here, so anyhow, he got me a taser, and now if we have any weirdos around the office, we have that. I don't know.
I have a super girly taser in my purse.
I got a purple one for my purse that I have not put in yet. He also got me, like, Batman nightsticks that have tasers that are super cool. Anyhow. All right, I wanted to share a couple of mine. This one is, I don't know if you guys can see the highlighted part, so I will share with you guys. I had a suspected IP violation for the word Snoopy. And God, they've been really just, does it shoot and what brand? It does not shoot. ViperTech. It is a ViperTech. Ms. Heather. So I got a suspected IP violation for Snoopy, and these you'll come around quite a bit. You know, you get these from time to time. I feel like they've been more lately this year than they have been in the past. But in my listing, if you used the word Snoopy anywhere, you get one of these, and then you have to go in and edit the listing. If you're not the owner of the listing, this might be hard to do. Hopefully the owner will edit it, and once they edit it, then it will fall off and be cleaned up. But I don't know what to do if it's not your listing necessarily. I was able to edit one that was not my listing, and it went through. So that was weird. Amazon's all over the place. It's hard to have hard and fast rules because they keep changing the rules and it doesn't apply to everything. But what was weird about this one is I got it back and it said, please be informed upon reviewing that we see your product listing currently has an invalid brand name. We request you to add the correct brand name attribute before trying to make your listing active again. And this one I was like, what? My brand is fine. I don't know what you're talking about. So I simply wrote back and I said, I checked and the brand is what it should be for this bundled product. Please reinstate. And it got reinstated. So I don't know if they had a problem or like they pressed the wrong button when they did the auto response, but something was funky. It did have to get escalated, which was weird. You know, I got that email, we've escalated your problem to the appropriate department. But who knows? Who knows what's going on with them? All right. Did you want to go your story now? A story? Or do you want?
Well, the only other story that I really had nothing to do with Amazon, but I found it very sad, was Lisa Marie Presley dying yesterday. Yes. I found that very, very sad. And like her dad, she died of cardiac arrest. However, I don't think she was a drug addict like her father was. But yeah, it made me sad.
No idea. All right, I got two more pictures, but this one, I don't really think I need to read it verbatim, but it has a story, and it's with Amazon Associates. So a lot of us run an associate store. I have my link down below. If you're interested in FBA type materials, you go down there, and if you click, the do not separate stickers, then I get a kickback. It's like 12 cents, but whatever, it's still a little bit. And a lot of us run those, especially if you're doing any sort of Etsy or crafts or anything. It's really good to have an associate store to have a little bit more income, off of selling things off of Amazon. So it's a good little, I don't know, it's just a little piece of my business pie. Well, about 4 or 5 years ago, when I set this up originally and my YouTube channel, I took that link and I used a URL shortener. And this URL shortener took my Amazon URL and just shortened it to something, short and sweet. Well, this is against terms of service. And I had no idea that a URL shortener directed traffic in a particular manner that was not directly to Amazon, and Amazon feels that this is trying to drive traffic outside of Amazon, and I was suspended. I got my account, my associate store shut down, and I appealed, it wasn't working, and finally I opened up another account and nothing happened. So I'm like, okay, well, I'll just switch over to this other account, lesson learned, and I will move on my way. Well, this last week, my newer account that is, 4 or 5 years old got suspended for being associated with that previously suspended account. So if you are wondering if Amazon eventually will link you to past mistakes, they do. It will eventually catch up to you. Took 5 years, but they caught up. and I got suspended, and there was an appeal button. So I appealed, and it was very short and simple. In fact, I wrote Tina what I rewrote, and I'm like, I said, years ago set up a store and I used a URL shortener, and I was unaware that this was against terms of service. And I tried to appeal, did not win. So I set up a secondary account, and I have learned my lessons. And I feel that you could see from the last 5 years of not having any policy violations that I am an asset to your Amazon influencer, Amazon, whatever associate store. And I won.
Yeah, sometimes it's simple. Like
Yep.
sometimes the win is simple, and when that happens, it's so victorious.
I know.
And we've filed many, many claims with Amazon, opened up many cases, and a lot are wins, and some are not. But be diligent. Be diligent.
Yes. Be diligent, and don't I don't want to say never take no for an answer, but at the end of the day, I like going home and saying that I did the best that I could do. I gave it my all. I tried. And at the end of the day, if I could say that I tried and it still didn't go in my favor, then okay, I can live with that. And at the end of the day, we all have to just live with ourselves. All right, I wanted to bring this one up because this guy was a piece of work, and they are harassing somebody. And we will often get harassing emails, letters, DMs, IMs, PMs, whatever you want to call them. But this came through somebody's seller messages, and it was bad. They're basically going after another seller. And this was really, really nasty. They are threatening that they have ordered items, and they will cancel, and they will do inauthentic claims to get the seller off of the listing. And there are a couple of ways these can escalate, and I kind of wanted to talk about that for a minute. You can sometimes get these messages, and it's just another seller that's trying to get you to get off of the listing, and you can either comply or not comply based on how that listing is set up. Is it a private label item? Did you accidentally get on it and you maybe shouldn't have? Then feel free to say, so sorry, my bad. I have gotten myself off, and move on with your day. If they are just trying to get other sellers off because they're jerks, ignore, delete, report. If it escalates to this level, you can threaten to sue, or actually sue for harassment, and get into the legal aspect. Now, we're not lawyers here, and I haven't had to get to that point with any other sellers, but when it gets into the legal stuff, we're starting to see more and more of that with harassment and with seller accounts on Amazon, because some of these sellers are making millions every year. So hiring a lawyer is going to be in their repertoire at that level. I mean, I have a lawyer, but I only use her when I absolutely need to, when I can't solve my own problems. But having that lawyer in the back pocket to question or ask, I use Hewitt Law if anybody's interested. And usually the links are down below, but I don't think we put links today.
I didn't. No.
That's fine. But if you are, getting these messages, just be aware that there are different levels, all the way from like, it's just a minor mosquito, slap it, report it, go away, all the way up to the legal. Now, there has been some other postings, I've seen 2 or 3 of them, about the DMCA actions. And basically, if you get it's copyright, right? For DMCA.
Yeah.
DMCA is copyright. If you get a copyright infringement against you, and you file a DMCA, which I have filed the counter DMCA and won, because what happens, and this is the part that I didn't know, and now I know, so I'm sharing, that DMCA counter notice goes back to the seller, and they have to file court proceedings with Amazon, or it just falls off and you win the DMCA. So many sellers are not actually going to file legal paperwork against you, because it's very expensive, and you're talking hundreds of dollars, if not thousands, to actually take somebody to court for a DMCA. And you have to have a legit winning case. I mean, you can't just do that. So for all of those that are out there just filing DMCAs against other sellers for the heck of it, yeah, we're going to counter you. And for all the ones that are getting those counters, put up or shut up. It's the legal world of the area. Now, I'm not saying that you should go out and do a bunch of copyright infringements. Don't do that. Don't do that. But it's
Amazon horror stories.
yes, it's good to know how the inner workings work, because
Yeah.
you will eventually come across one of these or multiple of them. All
We
right.
will all be hit with an IP claim. We're all going to be hit with a copyright. We're going to accidentally jump on other sellers' listings that have their own trademark. We had one last night, Lucy and I,
Oh yeah.
speaking of that, and I messaged this person. Now, I didn't go through the proper channels. I did just message them privately, but I sent them a nice message. And just moments ago, when you were talking about that, I actually went to look at the listing and they are no longer on it. So they did close the listing. Now, the reason I do this, even though people will tell you in Facebook groups, oh, if the person of that listing messages you, just ignore them and keep selling it, or make them go through the legal things. Well, look, I look at it like this. When some of these sellers have messaged me, and I've also gotten the cease and desist, like get off the listing letters in the mail. I think I've had two of those. Um, one from Kong brand, like big name brands. Anyway, when it's been the private seller, the smaller seller, that then put a ding on my account that I either have to fight, and a lot of them will ignore you, or they use third party companies that ignore your messages. And then it's very hard to get these off of your account, and they will sit there for the 180 days. I much rather would have had them message me privately for me to take a look at that listing and go, oh crap, I overlooked that. Because there are times I have accidentally jumped on somebody else's custom bundle that had their thing in it. It's happened a couple of times, but nonetheless, it has happened. And if they had messaged me, I would have gladly closed down my listing. So I tried this approach with this particular seller on my branded listing last night, because that's the approach I would have wanted. And even though they didn't message me back, which I didn't expect them to, they did remove themselves off of that listing. And I appreciate that. And I'm sure they appreciate that, rather than me violating their account and putting a ding on it.
Yes. And when I get messages on any channel, whether it is through eBay or Amazon or anything, if somebody is professional and oh, I don't want to say honest, but professional and nice about it, then I am more apt to say, okay, maybe this is my fault. What happened here? Let me look into it. If somebody just sends me a threatening email, it's like, you lost me. I don't do well with threats. Here, let me get my taser. Come here.
That's right. That's right. And the thing is, as you have to put yourself in both parties' shoes, right?
Mhm.
So when I address others this way through Amazon, or even the person who wants to make the return who's ticked off, I also put myself in their shoes, because look, I'm the seller that's had the thing happen to me, and I'm also the purchaser who bought the thing on Amazon, who was unhappy with what I got. And what do I expect when I send that seller a message? So you have to, when you're making these decisions, you have to put yourself in both of the person's shoes, and put yourself in this situation, and what would you like, and put it out there that way. Now, if the person is unwilling to respond in the way, then of course you're going to have to up your antes, and then go the route that's rude. It's one that, it's, but I'm always going to try the nice approach first.
And I keep that in mind too when customers are messaging me. We live in a world right now that unfortunately you have to kind of be bitchy to get things done. And I don't like that is how we are. But if you've ever tried to go into the store and get a return done, or any of the other customer service things going on out there, I, I like to start with nice, but honestly, I am getting really tired of other stores. I don't want to say making me work for it, but like, I want to return this. Well, why do you want to return it? Well, is it still good? Well, did you use it? What are you doing? Oh, you should have returned this a week ago. You know what? I don't need the rudeness and whatnot on the customer side.
Yeah, and then it's
And
like, and now you're going to get a bad review,
yeah.
right? I mean, this is the next step. This is what people will do.
hmm Exactly. Exactly. And, you know, it's just irritating. I've been on there, I've been in their shoes where I'm trying to return something for whatever reason, and the seller is like, "Well, how about if I give you a 20% return? Or how about you keep it and then I send you something else?" Well, how about, and no, just I just want to, that's why Amazon's so successful. They have a no poop policy about just doing returns, and that is how they operate. So keep that in mind with everything. So I want to talk about my banking. If
The
you've ever
banking
dealt
call
with,
that we did yesterday.
oh my God, PayPal. I could rant about PayPal for 20 minutes, which would be the shortest amount of time I've called in the last 2 months. But PayPal has been god awful. They have switched all of their reps to everybody is overseas. Nobody knows how their systems work. Nobody knows where to find things on how their system works. And it has taken me at least 3 reps to get to any rep that actually knew what the heck was going on. And I think I've spoken to every department at PayPal now. I don't know what their department differences are, but it
I
seems like,
don't either because they say, "Oh, I'm switching you to another department," but
yeah,
those departments never have names.
no. Well, I'm sure they had a name, but it's always
It's not
just,
spoken. Yeah.
oh, you need to talk to this group. Oh, you need to talk to that group. And you wonder why we want to go online and buy stuff. I had similar. I went to Home Depot to get some spa stuff for my pool. And, I had to ask, I asked the first person, they're like, oh, aisle 19. I asked the second person, they're like, oh, aisle 12. I asked the third person, he goes, well, did anybody actually look up if we have this in stock? I said, no, they just told me random aisle numbers. Oh, then they look it up and they go, oh, it's seasonal. We don't have that now, but we can, maybe order it for you. If I wanted to order stuff, I'll go to Amazon. I wanted to come in and get it. Anyhow, my other customer complaint.
And then
Ah,
I have people, and I'm sure you do too. I have people that will message me on occasion an email because on my YouTube channel, I do have a link to my email, how you can reach me, and I will get request to do a video on a particular topic. But it's usually always a company trying to act like, oh, I do this, and I've been really happy with this company. I would love to see an online review of such and such a company, and usually it's a drop shipping company. So I should have pulled up the email to have it ready to show. A person says, I've been very happy with this drop shipping company and I've been making, tons of money. I would love if you would do a review on this drop shipping company. First off, my channel, I've never done reviews of any company. Not
yeah,
that I'm against but it's not the theme of my channel. And secondly, I will never do a video reviewing any drop shipping business model because that is a fast way to get your account shut down. And that is what I replied to them. I actually took the time to reply back that I could not ethically do that because not only do I not do drop shipping is the fastest way to get your account shut down. And I would not have the people who follow me on YouTube subject themselves to losing their Amazon accounts.
exactly. Exactly. Good morning, JR. Along those lines, there has been a multitude of people posting that they have been suspended because they're drop shipping. It's section 3, Code of Conduct, section 3, drop shipping. And you basically, I am super glad that the community has come together and basically said, we're not going to help you because we don't want you on there. Quit drop shipping. It's utterly ridiculous. I have been hit up on Fiverr multiple times in the last, I'd say 2 months, on how do we start this drop shipping business. So there has got to be somebody out there that's really marketing and
Oh, they
promoting.
still do on YouTube. Those infomercials come up all the time about
Yeah.
drop shipping, drop shipping, drop shipping. And
Mhm.
it is such a dangerous thing to do. Don't do it.
Don't do it with Amazon. If you want to do drop shipping, there is plenty ways to do it on different channels,
Shopify. Yep.
Shopify, Facebook, etc. And I'm not against doing it on those channels, but there's a reason why people are wanting to do it on Amazon. It's because those channels suck for it. A lot of people get burned. My husband was like, I'm never buying anything on Facebook ever again because we've ordered stuff and we just don't get it.
Hmm.
It just never comes. You go to try and find your money and the website's no longer available and it's, gone kaput and they took your money and they ran. And I hate to see that is a thing out there, but it is a thing. along those lines, if you ever see anybody that wants to purchase your account or use your account and give you a percentage of the sales, they're doing drop shipping. And it's
I've
not going to
gotten
be
that message before as well through Fiverr. Somebody wanted me to help them basically find people who wanted to sell their Amazon stores, and they were going to give me a big commission.
yeah. And even if they say, because I saw this on an infomercial, they said, oh, it is, you will not get suspended. We have a guarantee that you won't be suspended. Yeah, I've got magic beans too. In fact, Tina, we're going to sell magic beans. I've got great magic beans for you guys. 10 beans, $10. Just PayPal me the money. I will send you these magic beans. These magic greens, grow
Prevent
dollar
you from
bills.
being suspended. Yeah. So
And
don't
yeah,
fall for these people that try to sell these kind of things. It's like the snake oil salesman.
hmm exactly.
And speaking of Friday the 13th today, this is just kind of a fun story. A girl who used to work for me when I owned a hair salon, she was a very, very beautiful, very stunning girl. One of her, she was married twice. One of her ex-husbands was one of the actors who had played Jason in Friday the 13th. I think he was Jason number 6, because I want to say there are 6 guys total, actors total, that have played Jason in the movies. And there's one actor who played them in 3 different, he played Jason, he played, I can't think of the other, he's played 3 different horror actors. I'm drawing a blank on the other guys' names, but anyway, that's just kind of a fun fact. And he was a manager here at one of our local casinos, the Palms Casino. And so they had a friendly relationship while they weren't married anymore. And when we would go to that casino, he would always leave a big comp for us to use in the hotel. So if we went to a nightclub or the bars, basically we paid for nothing. Drinks were bottomless, and so that
Well,
was
that's
fun
good.
times.
The Palms has expensive drinks. Is it still open?
It is open, and it was bought by an Indian reservation. So now it is one of the first Indian only owned casinos now in Las Vegas. Most of those Indian owned casinos are, I believe, in the East Coast, there's one, and in California. Yep.
We have just like all Indian casinos up here.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
We have a huge native population up here. That's why all our words are tough to pronounce up in the Northwest.
Yeah.
My
Yeah.
mom comes up here. She's like, how do you know how to say anything? I'm like, it takes a while, but you get there.
Yeah.
Nate's going to take 10 beans. Awesome. JR says, I got a flyer in the mail the other day for offering up $4,000 to buy your account. So
Yeah.
I saw a couple things on that. People who have bought accounts and then they wind up getting suspended and kind of trying to manage multiple accounts. So I want to talk about that for a second. Can you have multiple accounts on Amazon? Yes, but you need to
Yes.
have permission
From
and
Amazon.
from
And they want to know
Amazon.
why you need another account.
Mm-hmm. And the other way is people do it without permission and they try to set up VPNs and different logins, and it looks utterly exhausting to try and keep all of that stuff separate. But all it takes is one VA not logging into the proper VN, and you're toast. It will link all of those accounts and then shut them all down. And once you get one account linked with a shutdown, it's really,
Yeah.
really tough. So I've thought about selling my account as well, and I probably will when I'm done with this business, is sell it off because it's a good account. But when you go to take over that account, there is some trickery to it, but it's not going to be my problem. Like, I would never buy an account because of all of these things going on. But if somebody wants to do all of that, then I wouldn't be opposed to selling it. And you got to know that you are not selling your Amazon account, you're selling your business that has an
Yeah.
Amazon account, and you never can truly, like, the ownership switcheroo with Amazon is another tricky aspect. Anyhow, if you are even wanting to get into any of that, please go read all of the rules and regulations.
Yeah.
Get yourself somebody that's knowledgeable with that. Don't just think that this is like going and buying, bread from the grocery store, that it's going to be easy. It's going to be very difficult, and you don't want to get that new account suspended. Let's see here. What else do we got going on, Miss Tina?
Well, as far as Fiverr goes, and things of this nature, Lucy and I do help a lot of people who have just any kind of questions and help needed on Amazon, that one-on-one help. And we both have links on Fiverr if you ever feel like you need some one-on-one coaching or help. Um, Please reach out to either of us through Fiverr. And we also started this year, which was long talk since last summer, our bundles group, and it has been going really, really well. I'm really loving our bundles group. So if any of you are interested in joining us in our bundles course, we've been very, very active in there because it's new. So there's lots of questions and things to be answered. And we already have a ton of videos available. So if you're interested in joining us for bundles, you can sign up with us over there. And
I do have something to
anything
elaborate. Huh?
Yeah.
Oh,
Go
I do
go ahead. I was looking down at my
elaborate
notes.
I worked with this Fiverr person a couple months ago, and they had gotten their account suspended because it was related to some other person that had been suspended. And I want to kind of share what I've learned with everybody here. So this one guy, he was managing Amazon accounts, and he was the account manager or owner of about 3 or 4 accounts, and he got suspended for not taking care of IP claims and customer complaints. He didn't stay on top of it, and he got too many and got that account suspended. And because that one was suspended, they suspended everything else that he was associated with, which was one of the accounts that I was helping with. And he said, we got a suspended by association with this guy. And there's kind of 2 ways that you can fix it. One is if that other guy fixed his IP complaints and got the account reinstated, all of them would get reinstated. The other way is to formally present to Amazon that you have severed ties. And so we're talking letterhead, company, termination, letter, stamped, or however you can do to prove that you have sent it. Usually it's an email. You want to show that you have sent a formal email saying we are severing ties with you. We are no longer associated with you. And then you can take that email and the termination letter and present that to Amazon and say, this is my plan of action. We severed ties because he was not a good manager. Please reinstate our account and get that tie disconnected from him. But it was an interesting case because it also involved him. The manager was in cahoots with like the CFO, and they were together. So I said, well, this just got really tricky because, if you want to terminate something with somebody and it's just business, okay, that's fine. You do a little letter, no hard feelings. Okay, we move on. But if you're living together, then that's an added thing
At the same address, yeah. And I had a guy reach out to me that needed help because his people were hijacking his listings, and he said that he had brand approval. And by the time we got to the bottom of it, and do not do this. I mean, if you're going to jump through the hoops to get a lawyer, to get a brand, to register it with Amazon, to do all the things, he then bought his UPC codes on eBay.
Oh.
And so he was using non-GS1 database UPC codes on all of his listings. And so when he was asking Amazon to, verify that this is his brand and getting everything done, when they're checking his UPC codes, well, they're not tied to his company name. And that's how we got to the bottom of what was going on with him. So do not do that. For those of you that are getting brand registered, make sure you do all the homework. Look, these are expensive lessons that you learned the hard way. And that doesn't mean it only happens to new sellers. These kind of mistakes always happen to newer sellers, or the first time you're doing something. You shouldn't be afraid to do things, just like for those in our bundle course who are a little bit afraid to create their first bundle. I mean, you just kind of have to jump in and do it, but do as much research as you can. And sometimes you don't know what to research when you don't even know that this is a problem. If you didn't even know it was a problem to buy a UPC code on eBay, well, you just learned a tough lesson. But try to find out all of your facts before you go jumping in on some things.
I'm gonna walk through how to look up a GS1 barcode real quick, because a lot of people don't know how to do that, and it's very simple. I put the link in the channel, but it's I just type into Google GS1 barcode lookup, and you can literally type in, if you can see the numbers. I have a magnifying glass in the desk. I'm getting new glasses here soon, but this is my little tube of Bath and Body Works stuff. I got to click I'm not a robot. Hold on, I might have. I think I messed it up, so we're going to refresh. Now I'm not a robot. All right, so this one does not have anything associated to it. Let's do a different one. I'm just going with what I got laying around the office. Oh, this might be too short.
I have anything in here with a barcode.
Let me grab a candle.
I've got a barcode I can read off to you.
Huh?
I have a barcode on these I can read off if you need a barcode.
I need something with a barcode. Yeah, what do you got? You got something
Okay,
that's
so this is 093573683558.
You have a Cricut. So
They're
see how
Cricut pins.
you can see the names here of it's Cricut, and it's on Front Street in Utah. I didn't know Cricut was in Utah. But anyhow, when you go to list things in Amazon and you're like, the barcode doesn't work. The barcode doesn't work. I'm trying to list this item and I have authority to list Cricut, but it's not working. You got to come and see what is it really listed as, because sometimes, we have a DBA, or, the brand that you think it is not going to be the brand in the GS1 system. And that's what Amazon is linking up to. Amazon system is linked to that database I'm showing you. So when you say the brand name is, I don't know, something else besides Cricut, it's going to say, nope, it's not matching up.
That's right.
Yep.
And so Heather says, I have some GS1s unused. Should I use them for the bundles, or are they expired? It's been 2 years. So your GS1 barcodes, you usually have to renew them every year. You've gotten an email with a bill to pay for them yearly. So my guess is they've been expired unless you have been renewing that. If you are in our bundle course, which I believe you are, yes, you are, and you want to renew those GS1s, I mean, by all means, you can use them on your bundles. If you are having GTIN exemption for your bundles, then you don't need any barcode.
Right. That's what we teach, is no barcode ways. The other thing I will say on that is, when you are listing whatever you registered those barcodes under, so let's say it's Heather's Emporium, that's right, the brand you got to use.
That's right.
You got to use, because that's what is connecting. So if you just did it under whatever, you bought them and they did it under whatever, you either got to use that brand and get approval to list under that brand, or do the exemption part.
I think that wraps up today's Amazon horror stories for Friday the 13th.
Friday the 13th is really good. You did want to say about Not Your Dad's CPA. We're going to have them.
Oh, yeah. That's what I forgot. That wasn't
Where's your list?
That wasn't even on my list. How did I forget? So, yes, Tuesday morning at 8 a.m., we are going to be doing a special live with Mark from Not Your Dad's CPA. One of our watchers here today, Nate Ricks, who's there in the chat, I know he and his wife use Mark for their taxes, and I have hired him this year myself. It will be my first year using him, but he is on YouTube as Not Your Dad's CPA. That is his YouTube channel, and he's always very knowledgeable for resellers, whether it's eBay, Etsy, Amazon. He himself even dabbled with doing Amazon this last year himself, and so he really does have working knowledge for doing taxes specifically for our audience. So that will be Tuesday at 8 a.m.
Does he have pricing on there?
I don't think he does on his site.
Let's take a look. Let's take a look. So he's got courses, services, tax preparation, sign up list. All right. federal and state 300 and up, federal Schedule A state 350, 450, additionals, business returns 700. So if you are doing a business, it's going to be about $700, which is about on par. I believe my CPA is right around that mark, and she is going to come on the channel too. I got to bother her on what day that's going to be. It was going to be last Friday, and then she's like, can we change? And I said, sure. And then we wanted to get this one on here. So we will have 2 CPAs hopefully on the channel this month, Mark next Tuesday, which is great. He's you can go check him out on YouTube. He was associated with GoDaddy for a while, wasn't he?
May have been. He may have been. I'm not sure.
Tuesday is your birthday. Well, happy birthday, Nate. And Christelle says, exciting. I've seen his TikToks. Yeah, he's pretty predominant in our line of business. I am.
Yeah. And I'm excited to be working with him.
Yes, it will be quite fun to hear and get an idea of what's going on. So I have started to collect questions for CPAs, but this is another time where if you want to leave a comment or on the Facebook group, we're going to be making a list for the CPAs on what kind of topics you want covered. So if you have a specific question, go ahead and leave that down below, and we will gather that up and have that next Tuesday. So
I think that's it for today. I hope all of you have a fun Friday the 13th and not a freaky Friday the 13th.
What's wrong with Freaky Fridays?
I like Freaky Fridays, I guess.
Well, I'd rather have, I want to have a fun and Freaky Friday. Is that okay? Can I do that? We're going to be rearranging the office today, which I'm super excited for. I gave one of my gals they do all the packing and moving things around. So I said, okay, we're going to rearrange in January. It's coming. It was coming. It was supposed to be done last week. Anyhow, today is the day we're going to rearrange the office and move things around, which is always exciting and kind of refreshes the room, and you make improvements and kind of get re-inspired in your work area. What are you doing today?
Well, it's Friday paperwork day. So I will be doing paperwork and cleaning out emails and things of that nature today.
I did paperwork yesterday.
Friday finance.
Yeah, I don't like finances on Friday. It's not fun or freaky. But it has to get done. You got to do it at some point, right?
Yes.
Keep up on your paperwork. All right, everybody. Have a great and wonderful weekend. Take care.
See you next Friday or Tuesday if you're logging in for the CPA.
Yes, Tuesday.